Well, this is the Mercedes Benz S-Class, and a lot of people in the world say that this is by far the best luxury car out there on sale, and I kind of agree with that view. And if today's review seems very positive, very glowing, very in favor of Mercedes, don't blame me for being biased towards the car maker. Blame Mercedes Benz for making such a phenomenal product. So let's start with this review, and I'll tell you why this is by far the best luxury car in the world. Well, before starting off this video review by sitting in the back seat, let me just take a quick selfie with the car for my Instagram. And you can follow me on Instagram, and my handle is Ashish Masih 1. You can also follow the team, which is at Autoportal_India on Instagram, and follow us for all updates. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the glorious cabin of the S-Class. The back seat really is the business end of this car, because 95% people buy this car for the back seat, and I have to say that this is by far the best back seat in the business. It's better than the A8. It's definitely better than the BMW 7 Series. It has comfortable seats, but all those other cars also offer comfort. But it is the overall ambience of this car. It has a very opulent, luxurious, and a 7-star hotel-like ambience, and it is something to be felt, to be believed, because it really is glorious, as just said. Now, apart from the ambience, there's also something magical about these seats, and that is, of course, this bit of magic trick over here. All you need to do is to press this button, and the seat over here will become into a lounge chair. You'll get excellent room. The front seat moves up, and you have these little pads coming out from the lower part of your seat. The front seat also has a little tray coming out to keep your feet on it. And as I just said, if you want to feel like $1 million, or if you want to feel like a crorepati, and if you really want to feel like you are in the lap of luxury, then the S-Class's back seat is the ultimate place to be in. But even then, as I just said, if I had to give it a score out of 100, the back seat of the S-Class would get a very strong 96. Well, now the back seat of this car is as luxurious as flying on the business class of a Singapore Airlines seat. But if you want even more comfort, and this is something that even the business class seat of the Singapore Airlines plane might not give you, you can always choose the kind of massage that you want over here. So you get different kind of massages for your back, and you can relax over here. You also get this extra pillow. Now, of course, if you're going for that big multi-crore deal and you have to sign that deal with your conjuice business partner, then if you are tense, you can easily relax over here, put on the massagers, and simply doze off to sleep while you travel from Bombay to Pune. And of course, when you're there, you'll be just as fresh as a daisy, and ensure that you get the best deal for your company. Well, the S-Class is synonymous with opulence, luxury, as well as a very classy and well-appointed cabin. And this car really does smell of luxury. And as soon as you enter this cabin, this is the kind of car you want to be driven around in and be seen driving around in, if you have, of course, made it big in life, because a Mercedes is a Mercedes at the end of the day. And the S-Class really is the epitome of what a luxury car should be all about. Well, so of course, now it's time to say bye-bye to analog and hello to digital, even when it comes to gauges. Yes, Mercedes has junked all the analog gauges of the earlier car, and this one now gets digital displays completely. You get two separate screens over here. This one, of course, tells you whatever's happening or whatever you can change about the car in terms of the settings. And this one gives you a lot of information, including the fuel efficiency, as well as what kind of speed you're doing. And you also get a G-force meter, which is a really nifty touch, and it will really keep the shop over here entertained, because, you know, the guy at the back will be telling him mileage kitna aa raha hai, efficiency nikalo, and this guy will be saying batata hu abhi, and turn the car around and, you know, push his occupant at the back if he troubles him for efficiency. It's just a joke. Don't write in the comments that my jokes have become lame. But apart from that, let's talk about the overall ambience. You of course get these brilliantly made AC vents. They have a nice feel about themselves. They really feel like they're made from some expensive metal. They're not made from silver, but they do feel like they are made from some expensive metal. And all the buttons over here feel like they will probably last ages. And this is the kind of car that you could gift down to the next generation. You could easily live in this car and drive it around for 20 years and pass it on to your son or your grandson. It's like an old timepiece, which you can of course give it as an heirloom to the next generation. It really is that brilliant. Well, talking about timepieces, There's also a timepiece here in the middle of this display. I don't know what it is. It might be an Omega or a Rolex. We don't know. It is, of course, a Mercedes logo on it. It looks really cool and really has that old world charm about itself. So yes, Mercedes has managed to blend a lot of modern technology with the digital displays along with this nice leather, but they've still kept some old school charm and luxury with this wood as well as this tiny clock over here. Well, now being an S-Class means that you get all the equipment that you can possibly think of. You get this huge roof, you get ESP, you also get multiple cameras, brake assist, as well as a host of other features. You also get attention assist, lane warning assist, blind spot activation, and you also get autonomous driving for level 1. This isn't a self-driving car, but of course if you drive it on the highway and you put on the cruise control, then the radars and other systems out there, lasers, will keep telling you how far you're from the other car, and it'll brake automatically and keep you safe. So yes, Mercedes has been at the forefront of safety, and this one comes with a whole host of technologies to keep you safe. And of course, if you want to use all the displays and if you want to touch it, it's not a touch screen unfortunately, but even then you can use this swivel wheel, and it's a nice and easy system to operate. It's not the best. The BMW iDrive system is still the best, but this one is pretty close to that. But if you don't want to take your hands off the wheel and use this swivel wheel, there are also two tiny touchpads here to keep changing whatever you want to change and see. The left one is for this display, the right one is for the one right ahead of you. So as I just said, it's brilliant, sophisticated, and really a posh and classy place to be in. And because we are Autoportal, we'll talk about practicality as well. In terms of practicality, you get this huge tray over here which opens from this side as well as from this side, and it looks really nice. It's not huge in terms of the space, but of course you get wireless charging as well as 2 USBs and an SD card reader, and the door bins are large enough for those big bottles which you'll carry from your home. This is something that your chauffeur will truly appreciate. Well, as soon as you start driving off the S-Class, the first thing that you will remember is your teacher in school, your English teacher maybe in school, who used to yell at you, and the entire class in fact, and then she used to say, pin drop silence. Please everyone, behave yourself and be in complete silence. And this car is something which is completely got that idea going, because there is hardly any noise. In fact, there's no noise at all which enters the cabin. Now this car, remember, comes with a petrol and a diesel engine option. Today we've got the diesel, but even then refinement levels are so good that you'll end up thinking that you are driving a petrol. We had to in fact look at the rev counter to actually believe that we've been given the right car and not the petrol by mistake. So yes, it is a fantastic car for refinement, it's a fantastic car for noise isolation, and it's a fantastic car to hear that pin drop in silence. Now this car comes with a very exciting ride. In fact, it seems as if you're riding on Aladdin's magic blanket. The ride quality is so good. In fact, it seems as if you're riding on a cloud when you're driving around in the S-Class, because suddenly you'll feel that the local municipality around your place has started doing its work really well, and all the bumps and potholes and those badly patched roads have all been fixed. But to be honest, the roads are still bad. It's the S-Class which is making the difference, because this car simply glides over stuff. It seems as if you're just going over bad patched up roads in a magical form, because you feel nothing at all. And I'm not exaggerating, this car will actually make you feel as if the roads are brilliant and everything is hunky-dory out there. But it is to be seen, to be believed. Mercedes Benz has done something brilliant with this car suspension setup, and it is by far the best car that I've ever driven in terms of overall ride comfort. But the big but is that despite having the best ride of any car that I've driven, this car still managed to offer you an engaging drive. It doesn't feel loose around corners. It really does carve them around nicely, and the steering wheel has a nice and very linear feel about itself. It's not a heavy steering wheel, but even then it remains very accurate and pretty communicative. Despite the fact that this is a huge car with a very long wheelbase, the steering on this car remains pretty positive and very communicative. Well, what you'll also like about the S-Class is the fact that it is a very quick car. It comes with a 9-speed gearbox. Yes, those figures aren't wrong. It's not a 7-speed or an 8-speed. It's a 9-speed gearbox, and the shifts are really quick. No matter how you use it, you might use it in full auto mode, or you might decide to change gears by using these paddle shifters here. It is a very quick shifting gearbox, both up and down, and performance, as I just said, is brilliant. 0 to 100 comes up in a shade over 6 seconds, which is phenomenal for such a big and heavy car, as well as a car which is a diesel. And that's not all. When you're cruising on the road, you can easily cruise in this car all day long and easily do 110 kph, and you will not feel a thing inside, because that ninth gear gives it a lot of flexibility. Also, remember that along with about 280 bhp of power, this car has 600 Nm of torque, which means that this car really does move, and this car can really take on some supercars or some sports cars for sheer performance. It is a brilliant car, not only for luxury and comfort, but also for sheer performance. Now, even though this is a really big car, the controls on the car are very light, and the steering wheel especially doesn't feel overtly heavy. Yes, you can add a little more weight if you decide to choose the dynamic settings here and go for sport mode, or decide to go for the individual setting and choose sport mode in the steering wheel settings over there, and it does tend to add weight. But even then, it never feels overtly heavy. It never feels as if you'll tie yourself out driving this car the entire day. Now, visibility all across is excellent. You get a big rear view mirror. The glass at the back is pretty good, and that big Mercedes logo in the front acts as a gun sight, so you know exactly where the nose of this car ends, so the bumpers of the car won't be scraped, and your chauffeur won't be yelled at too much if you buy this car. It doesn't seem to be as big or cumbersome to drive as the size of the car would suggest. Now, of course, as I just said, you can choose dynamic settings here. You can choose from individual mode, sport mode, or comfort and eco mode. And as I said, in comfort mode also, the performance is good. The steering wheel also is very sharp and very accurate. But of course, if you want to make things a lot more eager, a lot more angry, and a lot more keener for the driver, the sport setting is the one to choose. The engine just seems to become a little more aggressive. It tones up its muscles, tightens them up, and the gearbox as well as the steering wheel really become a lot more engaging and a lot more aggressive in the way they deliver their power and performance. So yes, it is a great car, not only for comfort, but also for people who enjoy driving themselves, because it is a pretty engaging car at the end of the day. Out of a score of 100 in terms of the driver performance, I would give it a very strong score of 92. Yes, this is the strongest score we've ever given to any car, but this car truly deserves it because it really is the best of all worlds. It's a great car for luxury, it's a great car for comfort, and it's definitely a great car for keen drivers. Well, so overall, in summary, the Mercedes Benz S-Class is by far the best luxury car that you can buy, not only in India but across the world. And I think that this car has what it takes to rule its segment for the next few years, if not decades to come. Out of a score of 100, I'd give it a strong score of 95, and that's the best score we've given any car that we've ever tested. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.